This is world's famous Moe's Pizza. Everybody knows Moe's at 1112 Avenue H. That's just 2 blocks off the West Bank Expressway in West we go. We are on the Best Bank, and it's West Jefferson Day, home of a great football team, the Buccaneers, and also the alma mater of our director, Andrew Alvarez. We're celebrating all of that today and talking about high school football on the Prep Recruiting Insider. Ken Berthelot along with our prep recruiting guru, Renee Nadeau, and we've got a good show lined up for you today. Renee, right now all eyes are on the road to the Dome because we are down to the semifinals.
And it should be, because you know a lot of schools have worked real hard to get where they are right now that have a chance to get into the Dome, and it's down to semifinals. You don't get here by mistake. Maybe the first round you may have lucked out with a lucky bounce here and there, but when you get to the semifinals, Kenny, you deserve to have a chance at the Superdome.
Getting to the semifinals is harder than getting Renee Nadeau away from a slice of Moe's Pizza, I can promise you that. But let's take a look at the road to the Dome. We'll look at where we are in the brackets. The Louisiana High School Athletic Association road to the Dome, starting off with 5A, and yes, the Rummel Raiders, still the #1 team in the state, still undefeated, 12-0, seeking the first ever state championship in the school's history.
And they had a tough game last week against Washington. It could have gone either way. Rummel Raiders found a way to win, offense and defense, and they're going to play a Mandeville team, which is right across the lake, a 13 seed that overtook Catholic High. That's going to be a great matchup for the 5A championship. West Monroe and Parkway, Barb overcame Parkway and West Monroe, and those two are going to fight it out. That is going to be a physical battle between the #2 and #3 seed. The survivor makes it to the Dome.
Oh boy, that Mandeville Rummel game, that in a way is a state championship game. Even though Mandeville's a 13th seed, they're not playing like a 13th seed. They're playing more like a 3 or 4 seed.
And the reason is their quarterback, Coulier, has done an outstanding job, as has their defense, and they are finding ways to make plays.
Let's move on to Class 4A, and boy, another state championship style matchup is going to be Carr and Holy Cross. But let's talk about how they got there, because first of all, Neville is Neville, and they just continue to roll.
And they are ranked #1 for a reason. They are loaded with college prospects. McDonough 35, Wayne Reese. We had him on the show a few weeks ago. #21 seed. That is a low seed, the lowest seed in the brackets anywhere to make it this far. What a great job he's done. Curling's Catholic. What a challenge that's going to be. Holy Cross, that no one thought they'd be where they are right now. They're faced off with Edna Carr. They'll be playing this coming week. Edna Carr with a big win against St. Augustine last week, and Holy Cross with a win over LaGrange. Holy Cross just gets better each week.
Well, St. Aug playing very, very good football. So for Carr to win that game at Berman Stadium on the West Bank was huge, and they will be hosting Holy Cross at, again, a stadium that doesn't hold a lot of people. So it's going to be interesting that that stadium will be packed to the brim. And of course, as we said, when you look at McDonough 35, they have to go on the road. They are playing at Neville. That's what's going to make this game so hard.
The thing I like about McDonough 35 is they have other players, but Carlos Henderson has carried that team and is a big reason. The Utah commit is a big reason why McDonough 35 is where they are.
As we move on, the road to the Dome, Class 3A, Parkview Baptist, still undefeated at 11-0, and yes, they were hosting Livonia.
And the thing is, Parkview Baptist, #1, everyone expected them to be here. East Feliciana with Beckwith now getting back. He was injured earlier this year. They're a #22 seed. Really, that's a very low seed, playing Notre Dame. But that's going to be a good matchup. East Feliciana is very, very talented.
And Notre Dame goes on the road for that one. But again, playing a low seed, they should be able to handle business. 11-1 the record for Notre Dame. Now let's move on to 2A, the road to the Dome. And again, the team sitting right there as the #1 seed not only wins, but crushes opponents every week. And the question still remains, can anybody beat John Curtis?
Well, Springfield with a big win over Manny last week, a very talented Manny team. Springfield with a 4 seed. University Lab is facing off with Evangel, and University Lab has a lot of talent. and it'll be interesting to see how that goes because that's a 2 and 3 seed there, and that can go either way.
Well, I'm going right back to that Springfield game. Springfield beat a team, Manny, that was playing the hottest football toward the end of the season. Manny had won 5 of 7, had knocked off Winfield, and everyone said, my goodness, they knocked off Winfield, one of the 2 or 3 best teams in the state. But in order for Springfield to enjoy that win, they've got to get past John Curtis, and that's the almost the impossible dream there. So should be some interesting 2A action ahead. And then we move on to 1A. By the way, John Curtis will probably play Evangel. That's what everyone would expect as those teams make it toward the road or to the Dome, on the road to the Dome. In Class 1A, let's take a look because you've got Ouachita Christian and Southern Lab. That's going to be a key game in the semis.
Kentwood is loaded, the Roos are loaded, but Ouachita Christian is a very talented bunch with a lot of college recruits on there. West St. John playing better and better each week against Haynesville. I give West St. John a really good chance of knocking off the Taurus, even though Haynesville has found that way to the Dome many, many times.
Here's the thing about Kentwood. They're 11-1. They want to get to the Dome very bad, but they've got to go on the road. They've got to play at Ouachita Christian, so they've got a long way to go. And here's the other thing. Ouachita Christian still undefeated. They are 12-0, so that is going to be a brutal road trip for Kentwood. West St. John just playing good, steady ball. The semifinals are going to be unbelievable matchups in the road to the Dome.
It's going to be interesting. I can't wait, 2 weeks away. And again, this is football at its best. So right now, not only you get the teams playing, but any mistake could knock you out of a chance to go to the Dome.
We will take a break, and when we come back, Coach Marcus Scott and some West Jeff players, you're going to enjoy the show we're celebrating West Jefferson High School Day here at Moe's Pizza, right here on the West Bank. The greatest pizza known worldwide, as Jeff Arsama preparing another one at Moe's. No matter where you're at, come to the West Bank and visit Moe's. We are back at Moe's Pizza, 1112 Avenue H in West. We go on the West Bank, just a couple of blocks off the West Bank Expressway. If you don't live on the West Bank, you come to the West Bank to visit Moe's Pizza. And by the way, when you get here, they put some pizza on a table. If Renee Nadeau's here, just yell fumble and watch the big guy cover a fumble like he did when he was a player at LSU. It's something to see. And then he'll even share a little, no, he won't share a little bit with you. Hey, we are here with West Jefferson coach and a bunch of West Jefferson players as we celebrate West Jefferson Buccaneer Day. And to Renee's left is wide receiver Ronald Lewis, and to his left, the head football coach of the West Jeff Buccaneers, Marcus Scott, in his just finishing his 5th year as head coach. He has returned this program to where people expect it to be. They've been in the playoffs for the last 5 years. First of all, congratulations, Marcus Scott. Just a super job leading this West Jeff team since you've become head coach and assistant with Hank Tierney for 1 year too.
Yes, sir. I'm very thankful to be at this great school and have an opportunity to coach these young men. And believe me, they've been more of a blessing to me than I've been to them, sure.
You know, in the playoffs this year, you ended the season with the game against Jesuit, and you win that game. Then you have to come back and play the same team. The way the playoff pairings work, you have to play the same team 2 weeks in a row. And the old adage, it's hard to beat a team twice, came into play with you guys.
Yeah, it was just the way it fell with the PowerPoints. That's not an ideal situation, but when you're in the playoffs, you really want to perform well. And that particular day we didn't perform as well as we did a week ago. When they made the mistakes the week 10, and we made the few mistakes week 11 in the playoffs. So tough way to end the season with these kids, but we'll learn from it.
Marcus, I know we go back a long way. If you've been in this business long enough, we'll cross paths. I remember Marcus being an outstanding player at Jesuit, then going to McNeese, and I know that you're going to do a great job at West Jeff. One of the guys to my left, Ronald Lewis, a commitment to Arizona State. He's going to be a great player in college, great speed, part of a 4x100, 4x200 meet a team, and that speed has to help you an awful lot transitioning to the football field, Ron.
How it helped me?
Yeah, it's got to help you a lot. How does that speed in the relay help you transitioning to football?
Well, it gives me a chance to, when I need to break away speed to make a good play on the field, it helped me to get away from the defender when I need to.
Now you keep breaking your records. You set a record last year against Eric in returns, and then you re-break or you break it again against Eric this year. Is being a punt return specialist, is that something you really enjoy?
Yeah, I enjoy it to see when I break one back and how the crowd react to it and how my players and teammates react to it and how they go out on the next play excited because of the big run I did on the field the play before that.
Now you had 30 offers, but you decided on being an Arizona State Sun Devil. What pulled the trick for you? What made you decide to go to Arizona State?
Well, me going to Arizona State, they really reached out to me more. They showed how they gonna give me more opportunities, how they gonna play me early, and how they gonna have a future for me once I arrive on Arizona campus.
Renee, he's not supposed to be that fast. Hey, you're only 5'11". You 4'5", 4'4", 4'5", right?
Yeah.
Well, you know, I tell you what, either the guys
Take a
are,
look at that video.
either they move in slow motion or Ronald's that fast. But you can see they use you a lot of different ways. Marcus, he's got some unique skills, and you can put the ball in his hands on a speed sweep or as a receiver or even as a wildcat. He can do a lot of things for you, Marcus, can't he?
Sure. I mean, his versatility is his strength. And, you know, the coaches at Arizona State have expressed to me that they're going to try to get him the ball in a variety of different ways. That same staff was at Tulsa, and they really want to use Ronald in the way they used Damaris Johnson, who went to Destrehan, who's now with the Eagles. So his versatility, whether it be handing the ball, tossing it to him, throwing it to him, and also in the return game is really going to add to his value in college.
Ronald, what was it about Arizona State that attracted you there for the commitment?
Well, they style of play, how they come out like we come out at West Jeff, spread offense, how they spread the ball around and use their athletes in different positions and not just one.
Now, what other schools were close when it came time to deciding Arizona State? 2 or 3 other schools that might have been in the mix.
Well, before I decided Arizona State, I also said I was going to commit to Baylor, but they backed out. They had 2 commitments earlier than me, so I went to my second option.
What do you feel like you need to work on at the next level to be a star in the Pac-12?
Well, I need to work on everything. My speed need to get faster, my explosive agility, and I got to get stronger. Just prepare myself for the next level.
You've been watching, I'm sure, with the success of the Pac-12 with UCLA, USC, Arizona, Washington. You've been kind of watching those teams a little bit closer now on TV, knowing that you'll be in that conference pretty soon.
Yes, I had caught a couple of games on TV, and I watched them a little bit how they was going at it with each other on the field. It got me excited to go out there.
Marcus, what do you tell all of your young men about the recruiting process? What advice do you give them?
Well, first and foremost, we started when they're freshmen. When they come in, we can, as a staff, we identify the kids who we think are no-brainer kids who will be college prospects if they follow the formula, what I call the formula. And the first thing they have to do is establish themselves as a good student. They have to take care of the business in the classroom. Then the next thing they have to get the ACT requirements needed to qualify through the NCAA. And then they have to understand that they have to embrace the process and understand that it's a business. You know, they have a relationship with us as their high school coaches, but, you know, when they get into the recruiting process, you know, it's strictly business. And this is, you have to worry about the things that you can control. So while they're recruiting one receiver, for example, they're recruiting about 5 or 6. And that's just the nature of the business. I mean, and so it's tough for high school kids to understand that. Sometimes they get some hurt feelings along the way, where sometimes schools just drop kids. Sometimes school may not be interested anymore. So it's just tough.
Well, we want to congratulate you on another great year. You've had a great year every year since you've been the head football coach at West Jeff, and we thank you for the job you've done, the commitment you have to your program, your school, and the kids, and for being our guest today. We're going to talk with a few more of your players in just a moment. So thank you, Marcus Scott. Thank you very much, Ronald Lewis. When we come back, we'll be visiting with Devin Scott and Parry Nickerson. All of that right after this from Moe's Pizza on the Prep Recruiting Insider. Back at Moe's Pizza, 1112 Avenue H in West we go. That's just 2 blocks off the West Bank Expressway. And if you don't live on the West Bank, come to Moe's Pizza and try it. And if you think Jeff Arsamoah makes great pizza, yes, he does. The muffalata is to die for. So try Moe's Pizza here in West we go. Renee and I's guest on this segment of the show, and sitting right to the side of Renee Nadeau, is wide receiver Devin Scott, who is committed to UL Lafayette, and next to him is cornerback Parry Nickerson, who has committed to the Tulane Green Wave. And Parry, first of all, let me start with you. Congratulations on a very fine season. Again, in your career here at West Jeff, you've been to the playoffs every year, and I know disappointing that you guys got knocked out early, but what a fine year. It had to mean a lot to you as a senior.
Yeah, I worked very hard for this. Playoffs.
Yeah, and it was just that kind of, it's hard to beat a team twice. We talked about that with Coach, so we understand that. Let's talk a little bit about Tulane, because you made your commitment to Tulane, and the announcement came out yesterday that Tulane is joining the Big East Conference. Is that very exciting to you, and why?
Definitely. You're gonna play in a much more harsh environment, and I mean, it just gonna be exciting.
You know, the more things you can do, the better chance you have of getting on the field. And the thing that the coaches have to like about you at Tulane is that not only do you play a great job of cornerback, but you're a punt return specialist, and you had a couple of punt returns for touchdowns this year, one against Jesuit that was kind of unique. Talk about that, how you kind of picked up the ball around when you were surrounded by Jesuit Blue Jays and took it to the house.
Well, we practice a lot.
We'll see some video of Parry while he's talking.
We practice a lot on special teams at practice, and my coach always tells me if you have an opportunity, take it. So I seen the opportunity, so I took it.
But you know what? Do you liken your skills to anybody on the college or NFL level as a cornerback?
Do I compare?
Yeah, I mean, you watch anybody and try to emulate anybody on the next level.
Yes, sir. I look up to Patrick Peterson.
Okay.
Why?
He's a very good cornerback, great footwork, great ball skills.
And the thing that's also going to impress the college is the fact that you have a high GPA, like a 3.5. Is it a possibility that you might be enrolling in Tulane soon, early?
Well, I wanted to stay and run track, work on my speed, but we left something on the track field last year that we need to get.
All right, Devin Scott. Let's talk to Devin a little bit. And you made the commitment to UL Lafayette. Talk a little bit about that commitment, and why did you choose UL Lafayette?
My commitment to UL Lafayette, I chose UL Lafayette because they spread often is something like my high school, so I think I fit in well with them.
Now, what other schools did you consider besides going to the Raging Cajuns? Was there an offer or two here and there that you thought maybe you might look pretty good to you?
No, I thought ULL was the best offer I had, so I took them while I had them at the chance. So that's the only school I thought I had.
Well, you run a 21.3 200 and a 47.7 400 meters, which I know you in the AAU or Junior Olympics. How does that track background, Devin, help you translate to the football field?
Man, the track background helped me a lot. If I'm very fast on the track, I think it helped me. It helped me fast on the field.
What do you feel like is your strength as a wide receiver? He's on a go route right here.
Whoa, look
good
at
hands. What do you feel like you bring to the table as a wide receiver?
I think I bring more speed to the game. I could change it because I bring speed. That means I got to double team it, so therefore my teammates would be open. it helps spread
One
around.
thing about UL Lafayette is they're playing in the New Orleans Bowl. Are you going to be there watching them this year?
Yeah,
Are you pretty proud of what they've accomplished?
Yeah, I'm proud of their accomplishment. They got a good team. I'm gonna go there and support them and watch.
Now, might you run track for the Raging Cajuns? Is that an option?
Yeah, I'm running track and college. That's an option. That's something I want to do.
You have a 23-10 long jump, and I would think that explosion as a wide receiver, not only going up for passes, but that's got to help you coming out of a break.
Yeah, it helped me come out of break, helped me explode, and it helped very much.
Is there someone like Perry? Is there someone that you watch on a college or professional level that you kind of try to emulate their style?
Devin Hester. I like his way of his game, his speed. I like speed, so he brings speed to the table.
Well, he picked a pretty good guy right there. Perry Nickerson, what have you learned from Coach Marcus Scott in the last 4 years since you've been at West Jeff that's helped you prepare for college, prepare for life after school, and just be a better man because of it?
I learned a lot of discipline from him. He always mentored me through everything. And, you know, by the time I seen you, I knew before you could tell me something.
Yeah, that's funny. Devin, same thing. What have you taken from Coach Marcus Scott that's going to help you be a better college player and a better man as you prepare for life?
I learned to take my responsibility and to accept things in life. He helped me to be a better man.
And you the anchor on a 4x1 and 4x2 with Perry and Ronald. A little pressure on you to take the prize home when you have the baton in your hand. You guys got to feel good about your 4x1 and 4x2 relay. How long have you all been together as a team?
We've been together for 4 years. We've been doing this for a long time, so I think I'm happy.
Do you pretty much know the way these guys run, and when you get the baton as an anchor, you feel like y'all have a good chance to win? And how successful have you been the last 3 years?
Man, we've been successful. I pretty much know if they bring me the stick in the lead, that we're gonna be all right. I'm gonna bring it home for them.
Now, what advice would you have, Devin, if you're talking to the camera and you have someone who's a junior going into the recruiting process? What would you tell them to look for?
I tell them just to look for to work hard and keep doing what they're doing.
Barry, any advice you would give someone, what to look for, what to ask a recruiter as he goes through the process?
Not really. I mean, I'm satisfied where I'm at.
So it was a good experience. Good experience for both of you. Well, guys, congratulations, Devin Scott and Perry Nickerson on the great season, and we wish you the best of luck at UL Lafayette and Tulane, respectively. Thanks for coming on this part of the show. We're going to take a break, and in just a moment, we'll have the Aquin Withrow and Draper Riley from the West Jeff Buccaneers coming to you from Moe's Pizza, the best pizza anywhere on the West Bank, 1112 Avenue H, right off the West Bank Expressway in Westwego. If you haven't come to Moe's, you haven't eaten great pizza, so come here and taste it. It's to die for. We are back at Moe's Pizza, 1112 Avenue H in Westwego, just 2 blocks off the West Bank Expressway. And if you haven't had pizza at Moe's, you might be one of the very few people who's never had something from Moe's, because this is the place. People come from all over the state, all over the Gulf South to eat pizza at Moe's Pizza. On this segment of the show, Renee and I's guests are tight end Draper Riley from Southern Miss. He's sitting on the far end, and offensive tackle Aquin Withrow, who is committed to UL Lafayette. Let's start on the far end with tight end Draper Riley, 6'4", 245, and goodness sakes, Draper, you've got to be excited about your commitment. Well, let's talk about West Jeff, but let's talk about your commitment first to Southern Miss.
Well, commitment to Southern Miss, it wasn't a very hard choice at all. Like really, that was my first offer to people who showed the most interest in me. And when they came there, like we were always talking. They'll call me on the phone, have good conversations. I really felt comfortable about going there. It wasn't really a big decision. Even though I had more offers, but that was where I felt more comfortable, and it's closer to home. Unless I'd be able to visit my family whenever I would like.
West Jeff, a great year again, and all of you guys who are leaving West Jeff have gone to the playoffs for 3 to 4 years in a row. This had to be a very special year. I know you're disappointed that it ended early, but talk about the type of year you guys enjoyed, making it to the playoffs and what it meant to you.
Well, we had a real good year playing against good players and good teams such as Ricky Jefferson and all them type of players. But our team was real good. You know, five commitments and everybody there. It made everything real easy for us.
And Renee, you're looking at a tight end right there, Draper Riley. You're watching him, folks, and he can pull down that football. You can see what Southern Miss saw in him.
Well, you know, he doubles as a defensive end. He had 3 sacks against John Ehret. And the thing is, whoa, look at that. That is unbelievable. That's a great catch for a guy that's 6'4", 245. I'm sure those basketball skills, Draper, help you a lot with catching the ball, doesn't it?
Yes, sir. Like basketball, speaking of that, we have a game today. Basketball is really what I like the most. Coach Scott came and talked to me when I was a freshman. It was like he wanted me to be on the football team, and I'll basically be at the point I am right now. And I just believed in him and got me where I'm at today.
And Diak, when you're 6'6", 265, 270, committed to ULL, but you've got some other students out there, Louisiana Tech, FIU, and some others. What sold you on the Cajuns, and are you still maybe looking around?
When I committed to the Cajuns, that was my only offer at the time, and it wasn't really a hard decision either because it's like there was the hospitality was just amazing. That's why I really committed to the Cajuns.
Would you be open to anybody else if some other comes knocking on your door, some other recruiters? Would you entertain those options?
No, I wouldn't.
So you feel solid with the commitment you have with the Raging Cajuns?
Yes, sir.
The thing about you and talking to Coach Scott is you got great feet, great arms. You've been 3 years in football. You're a left tackle right now. You have the ability to move inside, and I got to think, looking at your frame, you could probably carry another 25, 30 pounds pretty comfortably.
Yes, sir, I can.
And what do you feel like is your strength as a tackle? Yeah.
I have good feet. I'm real good with my hands. I have that explosives off the ball. You know, I could move people against their will.
Now there's knee benders and there's hip benders, and you're kind of a knee bender. I mean, you got good bend for an offensive lineman, so you got the basic skills. It's just kind of getting reps a little bit and getting in tune with what you're going to be doing at the college level. Do you have a favorite player that you've watched on the NFL or college level?
Michael Orr.
Oh, wow.
Favorite player of all time.
There you go. Wow. If you came back next year and talked to this West Jeff team and had to give them some advice or motivate them to go all the way and make it to the state championship game, Diak, what would you tell them?
You just gotta work hard. Give it all you got, 100%. I mean, from the weight room to on the field to in the classroom, you just gotta give it 100% in everything you do.
Draper, same question. If you had to come back and talk to this team next year and give them that little extra motivation that would help them make it all the way, what would you tell them?
I just tell them to give it everything they have, play every game like it's their last, because they wouldn't know whether they'll move on to the next level or just be a great high school football player.
Now, the obvious question would be, Draper, that Southern Mississippi released their coach. Is that going to play a role, because you do have other offers, is that going to play a role in you staying solid to the Golden Eagles?
Oh, no, sir, I'm 100%. I'm solid. I'm 100% with Southern Miss. They always was hearing my best offer and did everything they could do to help me, help recruit me to help for me coming to their school, so I'm going to them.
What other schools did you entertain possibilities of looking at?
Well, I know as Memphis offered me around the same time as Southern Miss, and McNeese came towards the end of the summer when I already verbally committed to Southern Miss.
You are a guy who plays tight end, does a very good job. You can play an H-back, fullback. We said you had 3 sacks against John Ehret. You have a capability of playing both sides of the ball in a number of positions. What do you feel like is your strength? Is it as a tight end, or might you play a situational, a pass rush defensive end?
Oh, I think my strength is tight end 100%. I can catch the ball, run over people, block. But if they need me to go to the defensive end, I'll be more than glad and happy to switch sides of the ball.
Could you play fullback or H-back if that was the request?
Oh yeah, fullback. I love to play fullback. I love contact. That's what I played. I wanted to play that more this year, but we was basically more in the spread.
Now you are spread out as a wide receiver, which is asking a lot of you as a 6'4", 245-pound guy. They split you out as a wide receiver. That speaks highly of your skills.
Oh yeah, well I know I can get off the ball fast enough. Not probably as fast as a wide receiver, but it's real hard to check me once I spread out, linebacker or cornerback. And just give me the ball and I do whatever I could do with it.
And in the last minute or so that we have here, let's talk a little bit about West Jefferson. What has spending your career at West Jefferson meant to you, and how has it helped prepare you for life? And let's both of you guys take a shot at that. Draper, start off.
Well, Coach Scott, instead of being a head coach, the first thing he'll talk to you about to help you with is life. Like he wants you to be more successful in life than to be a good football player, because football can only carry you so far on. Like, you know, I play basketball, I have a game today, whether if I break my leg or whatever, anything happen like that, I still have a 21 in ACT and can qualify for tops. It helped me still go to college.
That's good. Diakwan?
Football helped me so much. I mean, coming into high school, I was nothing. You know, I didn't play any sports. I just came to school because my parents made me. But Coach Scott sat me down and talked to me to you know, come on a football team, and I ain't gonna lie, it's changed my life. Honestly, I wouldn't even be going to college if Coach Scott wouldn't have helped me. So I give all the honor to Coach Scott.
Well, guys, thank you for being our guest on the show. Best of luck in your college careers. Congratulations on a great season, and we just enjoyed having you on the show. I want to thank these guys, Draper Riley, Diakwan Withrow, Parry Nickerson, Devin Scott, Ronald Lewis, and Coach Marcus Scott for being with us on West Jeff Day here at Moe's Pizza, 1112 Avenue H in West. We go, look at that pizza. Yeah. Back here at Moe's Pizza, 1112 Avenue H in West we go. Ken Berthelot, Renee Nadeau, and the owner of Moe's Pizza. He's been making Moe's Pizza the very best for the last 26 years. He's Jeff Arcemont. And Jeff, thanks for being with us on Moe's Pizza. Look at that right there. That's you in action. Yeah. And that is one of those 20-inch pizzas that people just drive from all over Louisiana to taste here at Moe's. What makes Moe's Pizza the great pizza that it is?
The quality ingredients. That's the first thing. Great workers that I have that make it.
And a little love that
and
you guys put in it.
Yeah,
I know that. That's very, very special. And as much as Renee and I love pizza, I got to tell you, we tasted the muffalata, and the muffalata is maybe one of the best muffalatas I have ever eaten. And I'm not a muffalata person.
Thank you.
And I don't know what's the key recipe ingredient, but something's real special about that muffalata. Can you expand on that a little bit for me?
Well, we just, with the love, we put it together. No, we use quality ingredients. Just Acey's ham. We use a Sicilian olive. A lot of people use Spanish olives with it, so that can be a part of it.
Now, here's your little-known trivia question, Renee Nadeau. Which high school, and I think Renee is going to nail this one, which high school did Jeff Arcemont go to and play football at?
You know, we were probably, Kenny Trey and I were probably doing games back then, so we may have done it, but I would guess John Curtis?
Yes, sir.
John Curtis.
This is a great fit for him. I mean, being on a recruiting show with the background he has in football, having been a part of that history, being a part of 4 state championships for JT.
Yes. 4 state championships, and are you proud of this state championship run that Curtis is making here for their 25th title if they get there?
Definitely. It's amazing. Every year in, year out. But like we were talking about, that this is probably the best team he's ever had.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. You've seen most of the 24 state championship teams. How would you rate this year's team compared with the other ones, even across generations and across eras?
Across the board, he's probably the best they've ever been. They just keep getting better. But
Well,
this is the best.
We want to thank you for having us on the Prep Recruiting Insider as your guest here at Moe's Pizza, and we definitely want to invite people to come here to Moe's and eat. Stay with us for a moment as we get to our coach, our Max Home New Bath Coach and Player of the Week.
All right. Yeah.
And Renee, I'm going to go ahead and read our Player of the Week for Max Home New Bath, and you'll see the graphic come up on the screen, and he is the Mandeville quarterback, Glenn Coulier. He is our Max Home New Bath Prep Player of the Week. Coulier ran for 2 touchdowns and passed for 2 others as the 13th-seeded Mandeville team upset the 5th-seeded Catholic High of Baton Rouge 28-21 in the quarterfinal rounds of the playoffs in 5A. He completed 19 of 34 passes for 317 yards and 2 scores, carried 15 pounds for 69 more, and 2 more touchdowns. What more could Glenn Coulier have done, Renee?
Wayne, he's got a great challenge this week. He is 1 step away from the Superdome, and when no one thought he would be, with Rummo.
Well, our Max Home New Bath Coach of the Week is none other than McDonough 35 coach Wayne Reese. And boy, what a run it has been for McDonough 35. Got off to a little bit of a slow start, went into the playoffs as a 21 seed, upset Turlings Catholic 34-27 for the first ever quarterfinal victory for McDonough 35, which means they have never been to the semifinals. They are going for the very first time, and what a ride Wayne Reese has taken the Ron Eagles on.
And a guy who coached Marshall Falk has a good one in Carlos Henderson, and he's going to ride him all the way to Neville this coming week, and it'll be interesting to see how they fare against Neville. But again, 1 step away from the Superdome.
I tell you what, you've got to look at what Wayne Reese is doing, Jeff Hussman, and say, wow, how is he doing it at McDonough 35?
That's amazing. That's amazing.
You know, a lot of people don't know this, but the Ron Eagles got their nickname from the early years of McDonough 35 when they only had 13 players. And players had to play both ways almost an entire game, and they became the Iron Eagles. And somehow, through the years, the I got dropped. And Iron Eagles became Ron Eagles, and this team sort of reminds you of one of those early McDonough 35 teams where they have just taken the ball and gone to places where most people thought they couldn't go, and what a job for Wayne Reese, huh?
And they've done a great job, and they've gotten the most out of his players. A very talented group of Ron Eagles from McDonough 35.
Max Home New Bath is our sponsor for Player of the Week, and I am asking you that if you're one of the parents of the high school kids watching our show, go to the Max Home New Bath website. First of all, register for their $25,000 home makeover. You might be the winner of that. $25,000 home makeover, and it's yours just for going to the website and registering. But also, if you've got an elderly parent, think about for Christmas getting them one of the New Bath bats. It is special. They will love you forever if you do it. And all of their window replacements and other home decorations are available at Home Depot and on the website. Please visit Max Home New Bath. They're a good sponsor and they care about you. A local company here in New Orleans. Max Home New Bath, our sponsor for Player and Coach of the Week. We are back at Moe's Pizza, 1112 Avenue H here in Westwego, the absolute best pizza in the whole world. And a guy who can attest to that is our Legends guest, Renee and Marlon Favorite. I don't think I've ever seen 2 people enjoy Moe's Pizza more than these 2 guys did before the start of the show. Marlon Favorite, a West Jeff star, 2 district championship teams his junior and senior year under Hank Tierney, LSU, a national championship team there, and then 13 different years, 13 different teams in the National Football League. What a storied career. Congratulations to you on your career, and I'm glad you're with us on the show today.
Oh, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
I know Renee Nadeau was probably more excited about having you on than he said been about having any Legends guest, because he said, man, here's a guy that I just admire for what he's accomplished.
And that's big ups to Mr. Renee as well. It's a blessing to know a man that's cool, great guy overall. So I appreciate that. And you know, my journey has definitely been a blessing to be able to be a part of the successful teams I've been a part of from West Jefferson on through my professional career. So it's been great.
Yeah, and before Renee starts taking over with some of his questions, because he's got a lot of things he wants to ask you, I got to remind our folks that you actually were signed very late to the practice squad on the New Orleans Saints Super Bowl championship team. Explain that experience. What was it like? And talk about the fact that, hey, you got a ring that says Super Bowl champion.
Yes, the whole situation was very surreal. New Orleans called me the week going into the NFC Championship, and at the time it was my rookie year in the NFL. I want to say I was on 4 teams prior to that. I had just finished the season with Seattle. I was kind of at home with my family, and I was dropping my boy off at school, and out of the blue, I got a call from New Orleans to come work out. So they had an extra practice squad spot open, so I could just remember shaking and just, I couldn't believe it. It was just totally a blessing. I did the workout, and a few hours later, I signed on to the practice squad. And that whole situation was just a blessing, just a wonderful experience to be a part of history, to be a part of something this city hasn't accomplished before, and just to be in that moment, in that environment. It was a great opportunity, and special thanks to that whole staff who brought me on.
You know, I know he was raised right, and I know Mel and Mary out there are real proud of his son right now. He's a great guy. You know, when you went through the recruiting process, and we've talked about it so many times, Marlon, there wasn't much doubt where you were going to college. In fact, when you signed the purple and gold, that was a red letter day in your life, wasn't it?
It was. I can remember it like it was yesterday. Coach Saban came, sat in my parents' living room, and I'll never forget my sister's best friend Dana was there, my mom, my dad, my brother. I want to say maybe two of my friends, you know, were just kind of at the house. And Coach Saban came in there. He was very professional. He sat down. He made himself at home, and he made my parents and myself and everybody feel real comfortable. I mean, at the time, I was the #1 defensive tackle in the country, and had a few other options. My top 3, I just took a visit to Colorado. My top 3 at the time were, I want to say Colorado, USC, and LSU. And if you remember back that year, USC was competing for the national championship as well. Coach Ed Ogeron came down and made himself at home, went right in the refrigerator, got himself something to drink. And, oh yeah, boy, come on, you know. And just a great guy. Later on, I had a couple of chances to meet him down the line throughout the SEC when he was at Ole Miss, and it's no place like home. And you know, going to LSU turned out that I made the best decision, because those were some of the best years in LSU history, in my opinion.
You played on a defense that basically had the mindset, the buck stops here. When you got in that red zone, talk about some of the guys you played with. You with Glenn and some of these other guys, and Tyson, and you played with some outstanding players, not only on defense, but on offense as well.
Yes. Defensively, we had the #1 defensive line 2 years in a row with Glenn Dorsey, myself, Tyson Jackson, Charles Alexander, Ricky Jean Francois. We rotated two groups at a time with Kirsten Pittman, and you know, the list goes on, and just great defensive tackles. My secondary I had Jonathan Z9, Chevis Jackson. I mean, just great guys. LaRon Landry, Jesse Daniels, Craig Stelz, another local guy, he's a great guy from Rummel. He did a tremendous job for us, and we just had a great defense. Offense, Jamarcus Russell, the year we won back in '06, and we had Matt Flynn, who's still doing his thing in the NFL. Great running back with Jacob Hester and Ali Broussard. I could just go down a list of just great running backs, just great offensive linemen with Andrew Whitworth. And I mean, we'll be talking all day if I could just tell you guys about the names on that team of guys that were just great. Carnell Stewart, John Curtis guy, just great players.
What was it like playing for Hank Tierney at West Jeff, and how did he help prepare you for the tackle that you were, and also to get ready for LSU and the college that you decided to go to?
Oh, Coach Hank brought me in early at Archbishop Shaw. We originally started, 14 years old, just teaching me the right mannerisms as a young man. He saw a great young man in myself, and off the top, just teaching me techniques. Coach Malter, Scroble, and Coach Ricky at the time were my coaches at Shaw, and then I went on to West Jeff. Coach Scroble came back over, and I had Coach Pierce. So it was just great coaching. Coach Hank, he's like a second father to me outside of a big male favorite, right? Because he's just a great guy. Took me right under his wing, and just always taught me about professionalism, just being a great young man on and off the field. And I think that's where the blessing lies. And of course, the technique was great. When I went to LSU, I was already prepped. All the techniques that I learned under Coach Dunbar and Coach Jones, I had already learned in high school at the age of 14. So it was kind of a breeze once I got to LSU. just being able to put the talents on the field and catch up with the speed of the game.
Now, we've got another minute to go or so. But Marlon, when you talk to guys, I know you've worked at De La Salle as an assistant, and you spent some time in the NFL this year with the Redskins. But when you talk to a young man in high school who's looking at college, what do you tell those guys to look for, and what questions to ask the recruiter?
Well, the questions you want to ask about the academic program from start. You want to know, what's the graduation ratio of your student athletes here at this university. That's the first question, because I tell kids all the time, and me right now, I'm right in the midst of my NFL career, and hey, it can end today or tomorrow. We never know, my professional career, period. So I have that degree to fall back on. That's most important. So I would really stress that to them. Secondly, man, just be a student of the game. Yeah. Be able to go in there and listen to the older guys on the team at your position, and just, kind of pick up their leadership skills, be able to just be a great young man in general, on and off the field. I would definitely tell them that when they're talking to recruiters, and just, you want to get out there and put yourself in the best position to make it to the next level.
Marlon Dominique Favorite, thank you so much for being our guest, and congratulations on a great career. We appreciate you being with us on the Prep Recruiting Insider.
Thank y'all so much for having me. Y'all have a blessing.
We will be right back to wrap up this edition of the Prep Recruiting Insider from Moe's here in Westwego, the best pizza in the whole wide world. Moe's Pizza, the absolute very best. Yeah, Italians do it better. You better believe it. 1112 Avenue H, West we go. If you are not living on the West Bank, travel here, visit here. You have got to see it and taste it. Moe's Pizza, or the muffalata is pretty good too. I want to remind everybody that Sports NOLA TV next Monday, because of the telethon that WHNO TV 20 is carrying, will air at 5 p.m. rather than the normal scheduled time of 6 p.m. And that means the Prep Recruiting Insider next week will also air at 5 p.m. And next week, we have some special guests, Renee Nadeau, and I know you're very excited about it, because we're going to be talking to the second most winningest coach in high school football history.
Yeah, JT Curtis, and he'll have some Curtis players with him, along with Michael Stonebreaker, and Michael's going to talk about Notre Dame. So, former player for John Curtis, and he was a semifinalist for the Butkus Award, Michael Stonebreaker. It'll be a great show. You don't want to miss it.
Isn't everybody talking about Notre Dame? Isn't everybody talking about John Curtis? The question is, should the two ever play? Because both of them are pretty good football teams.
We also want to remind you that Marlon Favorite was with us just now, and Marlon has a business. Want to mention Favorite Strength and Fitness LLC. Give him a call at 504-319-6672, or on the website mfavorite99@gmail.com. Marlon has seen it all, and if you want to get in better shape, give him a call.
You've seen some linemen in college in the National Football League that are just big and bulky. I'm telling you, if you watch Marlon Favorite right there, folks, you were watching a guy who was fit, who was cut. He's in shape.
He is.
He's in shape.
He played in the NFL, and he's done it every way at every division.
I want to thank Marlon, and we definitely want to thank all of the West Jeff people for being our guest today, Coach Marcus Scott, and all of the players for that group. And our great WHNO TV crew, Adam, Andrew, and all of our people on camera and behind the scenes, and Renee Nadeau and Ken Berthelot. Thank you very, very much, and we will see you next week at 5 p.m. with the next edition of the Prep Recruiting Insider. From Moe's Pizza, so long, everybody.